The Mask of Janus. In the quaint village of Eldridge, tucked away between lush green hills and overshadowed by the ancient heartwood forest, the townsfolk prepared for their annual festival celebrating Janus, the god of beginnings, gates, transitions, and duality. Among the villagers, however, one man felt a creeping dread that had nothing to do with the festive masks or double-faced effigies lining the streets. His name was Thomas Gale, a man of slight build with sharp eyes that seemed to notice much more than he ever voiced. Thomas had moved to Eldridge only a year prior, his past a canvas painted with shadows rather than details. What nobody in Eldridge knew was that Thomas Gale was not really Thomas at all. His true name was Marcus Bellamy, and he was a fugitive, having escaped from the authorities in a neighboring land over a cleverly orchestrated fraud that had siphoned wealth from several flourishing businesses into his now abundant coffers. Eldridge had been a random choice, a dot on the map, where he could wear his new identity like one of the festival's masks. As the festival of Janus approached, Marcus felt the iron weight of his deception pressed down on him. It wasn't just his name and past life he had altered, but his entire demeanor. In Eldridge, he was Thomas, the mild-mannered librarian, always ready with a smile and a helping hand, the exact opposite of the cunning and ruthless Marcus. On the eve of the festival, an old man appeared in town. His face was deeply lined with the stories of a life well lived, and his eyes twinkled with a knowing sharpness that reminded Marcus of a predator. The old man, who introduced himself as Silas, spent his days wandering around the market and his evenings at the local inn, whispering into the ears of anyone who would listen. Marcus saw the danger immediately. He recognized the type, those skilled in ferreting out secrets, hunters of men. Paranoia clawed at him, each glance from Silas a potential unmasking. As the main day of the festival dawned, the entire village burst into vibrant chaos, with citizens donning elaborate masks and costumes, embodying the spirit of Janus in true form. Marcus, under the guise of Thomas, chose the image of the two-faced god for his mask, a symbol not lost on him, celebrating the duplicity he was now both victim and victor of. During the festival's climax, as fireworks painted the night sky and music swirled through the air, Silas approached Marcus. With the wily grin of a conspirator, he leaned close and whispered, "A fine mask, Thomas. Or should I say, Marcus. I wonder, does it better suit the man you once were, or the one you pretend to be now?" Frozen with fear, Marcus stared at the old man, his mind racing with plans of flight or fight. But what came next was something he had not anticipated. "I am not here to expose you," Silas continued, his voice low and steady. "I am here because you are not the only one wearing a mask, and Eldridge is a sanctuary for those who seek to start anew. But remember, even under the guise of Janus, one can't hide forever. You must decide which face you truly wish the world to see." With that, Silas walked away, disappearing into the crowd as suddenly as he had appeared. Marcus stood still, the weight of his double identity heavy on his shoulders. The festival around him blurred into a whirl of colors and sounds, a mirror of his tumultuous thoughts. As the night wore on, the Mask of Janus, once a symbol of his deception, became a question, a challenge. By the dawn, the mask lay discarded at the base of the old heartwood oak, and Thomas walked back into Eldridge, his steps lighter, his choice made. For now, at least, he would be the man the village knew. But he would work to shed the shadows of Marcus completely, embracing the duality of his past, not as a deception, but as a transition. In Eldridge, under the watching eyes of Janus, Thomas Gale would forge a new beginning, honest and true.